Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Time Travel Simulator. Start with a green dragon fruit. Chapter 41. In the duel arena, the bearded instructor's loud laughter kept echoing in everyone's ears, over and over again. After a while, he slowly stopped. He raised his eyes and looked at Zhang Zan again. Facing Zhang Zan's shining eyes, looking at Zhang Zan's extremely serious face, he suddenly said, "Although I really want to agree to your request, but there are no rules. Although I am a tutor at Magic City University, I cannot deprive your 9 seniors of the opportunity for no reason. If you really want to assess all the freshmen by yourself, it's not impossible, but there are prerequisites. As I said before, there is no free pie in the sky. If you want to replace all of them as examiners, if you want to be the only freshman examiner, then you must defeat them all and forcefully take over from them. Come grab the Vice Admiral opportunity. As sophomores, they are not qualified to refuse the challenge initiated by you, a freshman. I've said everything that needs to be said. Now it's up to you. Do you want to challenge your 9 seniors?" The words fell. Brush, brush, brush. Everyone's eyes focused on Zhang Zan again. Zhang Zan's eyes quickly glanced at the 9 sophomore seniors standing side by side not far away. The eyes of the 9 people flickered, and there was a hint of amusement on their faces. Obviously, although Zhang Zan knocked Xiao Yan off the stage with just one blow. But they still didn't take Zhang Zan seriously. After all, the reason why Zhang Zan was able to defeat Xiao Yan so easily and neatly just now was entirely because Xiao Yan underestimated him. "Teacher Niu, let's forget it. I see that the seniors seem to like us freshmen very much, and they seem to be eager to compete with us freshmen. I can't disturb the seniors for my own selfish desires." So elegant. Regarding his own strength, Zhang Zan is still very confident. He knew very well why he was able to defeat Xiao Yan so neatly just now. He knew it very well in his heart. If he and Xiao Yan were to fight again now, the person who would lose would definitely be himself. You are somewhat self-aware and know how to advance and retreat. You are not that reckless. But you are a bit thick-skinned. If you can't beat me, you can't beat me. You have to say it so nicely. Hearing Zhang Zan's words, a female instructor smiled and whispered, "It's better to be thick-skinned." Another instructor said with a smile, "In that case, let's continue with the freshman ceremony." The bearded man didn't say anything, but waved his hand and announced, "The freshman ceremony officially begins." The next second, brush, brush, brush. Almost at the same time, 6 freshmen jumped onto the stage where Zhang Zan was. But the arena of the other 9 sophomore examiners was still empty. There was no one except those 9 sophomore examiners. Persimmons should be picked soft and pinched. And obviously, among the 10 examiners, Zhang Zan, a freshman examiner of the same age as them, was the easiest to deal with. "These 6 people looked at me and I looked at you." After some negotiation, the remaining 5 jumped off the ring one after another. Then, the assessment began. Tap. Zhang Zan had no intention of holding back. At the same time, he also has no intention of looking down on these talented freshmen in the same class as himself. Because each of them is money, 500,000 points in vain. With Xiao's help, Zhang Zan was in front of the new student in the blink of an eye. The new student obviously didn't expect Zhang Zan's speed to be so fast. Zhang Zan was almost killed in front of him, and he only reacted belatedly. But his response was also timely. Boom. As he opened his mouth, countless blazing flames were suddenly spat out and rushed straight towards Zhang Zan's fist. Zhang Zan only has 2 choices. Either give up this attack and dodge the flame breath, or use your own body to resist. The former will create a lot of reaction time for the opponent. The latter is easily injured. Among these 2 choices, Zhang Zan chose the latter. The reason is simple. In addition to greatly strengthening his strength, speed and other attributes, the Azure Dragon Fruit can also increase his defense. After all, dragons are well known for their high resistance. With the blessing of armament hockey and iron body abilities, Zhang Zan's defense power is quite terrifying. Boom. The fist hit the blazing flame breath hard. This flame breath was directly dispelled by the terrifying power. On the other hand, Zhang Zan's fist only had a few hairs burnt due to the high temperature. His skin was intact. How can it be? Aha! Screams of exclamation and pain were heard one after another. Next moment, Under everyone's keen gaze, a black shadow fell from the ring. It was the freshman who challenged Zhang Zan. The whole process goes smoothly and takes no more than 5 seconds. Who's next? On the stage, Zhang Zan faced everyone's bright eyes and said, "I come." As soon as he finished speaking, a strong man with muscles all over his body jumped onto the ring. 10 seconds later, aha! While screaming in pain, the strong man was kicked off the ring by Zhang Zan. Next, a new student jumped up. Soon, he fell off the ring again. That's all. One, another, and another. Within a few minutes, nearly 30 new students had been defeated by Zhang Zan. And this time, seeing Zhang Zan, who was still alive and kicking in the arena, and the other 9 sophomores who were not interested in the freshmen, they suddenly couldn't sit still. In the beginning, they were actually happy to see no one challenge them. They were happy to see the freshmen challenge Zhang Zan. So that Zhang Zan, a self-righteous and arrogant freshman, would know that being a freshman examiner is not that easy. Because they felt that Zhang Zan would definitely not be able to hold on for long. If Zhang Zan could not hold on for long, his physical strength would be exhausted. But they were really panicked when they saw that Zhang Zan was still vigorous and full of energy after defeating more than 30 freshmen. They began to worry that Zhang Zan would complete the assessment of all the freshmen by himself, so that they would not be able to get the reward of 500,000 yuan per person. Teacher Niu, one of the female sophomores, couldn't bear it anymore and said, "Isn't this a bit against the rules? The freshmen have all gone to challenge Zhang Zan, and no one wants to challenge us. Who the freshmen are willing to challenge is their business, I have no control over it." The bearded instructor surnamed Niu said calmly. Hear this. The faces of the 9 sophomore students suddenly stiffened. They clenched their fists as they looked at Zhang Zan, who was continuously earning 500,000 and 500,000 yuan. Said it before, the blue dragon fruit strengthens not only Zhang Zan's strength, speed and other intuitive attributes. What it strengthens are all of Zhang Zan's attributes. It is like a defensive force, such as recovery ability and endurance. This is also the reason why Zhang Zan can still remain active and vigorous after fighting more than 30 freshmen in a row. And the reason why the remaining group of freshmen who have not yet accepted the assessment still choose to challenge Zhang Zan despite witnessing more than 30 people being defeated by Zhang Zan is not because they want to send resources to Zhang Zan. They are not related to Zhang Zan, so why should they give resources to Zhang Zan in vain? This doesn't make sense. What they were actually thinking in their hearts was this: the guy named Zhang Zan has been fighting fiercely for so long, and he definitely doesn't have much energy left. His current lively appearance is definitely an act. Driven by this thought, they jumped onto the ring one after another, and then were knocked off the ring ruthlessly by Zhang Zan. In a short time, nearly 50 new students had been defeated by Zhang Zan. Be reasonable. At this time, the remaining freshmen who have not yet taken the assessment should have more or less noticed that Zhang Zan's physique is unusual. Yes, this is indeed the case. They had indeed guessed that Zhang Zan's physique was unusual. But some of them do not believe in evil, some of them are taking chances, and some of them are unwilling to accept it. So, they were still lining up to challenge Zhang Zan one after another. The freshmen who can be admitted to Magic City University are undoubtedly geniuses and top students. Although their strength is on average around the first level mid-level, if they explode with all their strength, they can definitely be comparable to first level perfect superpowers. They can even compete with some second level supers with relatively average talents in society. Those with abilities are evenly matched. Like Zhang Zan, they are all top students and geniuses, and unlike Zhang Zan, most of them have good family conditions and have grown up eating magical herbs and elixirs. So according to common sense, it is impossible for Zhang Zan to suppress all of them. But Zhang Zan is not the kind of person who can use common sense. He is a man with cheat. He is a cheating man. With cheat on him, if he can't beat his peers, what's the difference between him and a loser? That's all. One after another. Soon, nearly 100 freshmen were defeated by Zhang Zan. At this time, finally, some freshmen completely gave up their little plans and ran to challenge the 9 seniors who had been waiting eagerly for a long time. No, 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 this is not okay. Seeing more and more freshmen running to challenge the 9 sophomore seniors, Zhang Zan suddenly became anxious. It hurts in my eyes and hurts in my heart. After all, that's all wasted money. That's $500,000 walking around one by one. No, I have to change my thinking. I have to give them a little hope. Otherwise, if I don't give them any hope, how can they all come to challenge me? Thinking of this, Zhongzhan's eyes quickly turned around. Immediately, his body suddenly shook a few times. Although he immediately returned to his appearance as if nothing had happened in the next second, he still showed the lively appearance before. But those freshmen who witnessed his body shaking didn't think so. It can't be done, it can't be done, it can't be done. Ah ha 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 ha, that guy named Zhongzhan is going to die. It's true this time. It's definitely true this time. That guy's energy is really going to be exhausted. He's completely pretending now. Quote. The remaining freshmen who had not yet accepted the assessment suddenly became excited and shouted. Then, there was once again a long queue in front of Zhongzhan's ring. The first freshman to jump onto the stage immediately received envious looks from countless freshmen who were late to take action. Just when he thought he was a sure winner, tap, Zhongzhan had already stepped forward and rushed in front of him. One punch. Under the tremendous force, the freshman who had just jumped on the stage flew backwards. But Zhongzhan saved a little strength this time and did not use all his strength. Therefore, the freshman who was knocked out by Zhongzhan's punch did not fall directly to the ring, but landed on the edge of the ring. But before he could get up, Zhongzhan was already in front of him again. Kicked him down. The time spent on the whole process was still very short, only about 7 or 8 seconds, which was almost the same as the time it took Zhongzhan to defeat the 100 or so freshmen before. But, in the eyes of the freshmen below, Zhongzhan was really in danger. He used 2 moves, he actually used 2 moves. Ha 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 ha, that guy is really dying. Quote. The above are the inner thoughts of the freshmen at this moment. Then, one after another, the new students couldn't wait and lined up in a hurry to give points to Zhongzhan. In this way, time passes slowly. After a while, the freshmen looked at Zhongzhan, who was still standing firm on the stage, and felt discouraged again. After Zhongzhan noticed that everyone's enthusiasm had subsided, he got into trouble again. This time, his performance was much more exaggerated than last time. After knocking a new student who challenged him off the ring, he staggered back 2 steps and took 2 breaths. This scene will immediately rekindle the passion for challenge among the freshmen. He's really in trouble this time. He will definitely not survive this time. Being defeated for almost 130 or 40 times in a row won't give you enough strength. He's faking it. He's definitely faking it this time. Quote. Then, the freshmen lined up to challenge Zhongzhan again. On the high platform. Ha ha ha, it's interesting. That boy is so interesting. He is actually acting here. Looking at Zhongzhan who was acting below, a tutor couldn't help but laugh. Yeah, just because he can put aside his face and act, he is bound to become a great talent. It seems that our Magic City University is going to be lively again. Yes, ever since that guy Li Hao graduated and left school the year before last, our Magic City University has become a lot deserted without his thorny side. Ha. 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 On the stage. After defeating another new student with difficulty, Zhongzhan stumbled back 3 steps, then sat down on the ground, breathing heavily. I can't do it anymore. I really can't do it. Don't come up to challenge me. I really can't do it anymore. I really want to be squeezed dry by you. As long as anyone dares to come up and challenge me now, I dare to lose to you. Look. Zhongzhan shouted with exhaustion on his face. However, under the ring, all freshmen, whether they had already taken the assessment or those who had not yet taken the assessment, they all showed mocking looks when they heard Zhongzhan's words. Ha 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 ha. We believe you, you bad old man, you are so bad. If we believed you, we would be dogs. No one wants to believe Zhongzhan. As for the reason, it's very simple. Because Zhongzhan had already shouted this 10 minutes ago. The first time he shouted this, the freshmen still believed him, and then they jumped onto the ring one by one as if they were drunk. Even the second and third time he shouted this, the freshmen still believed him. But now, this is the 4th time Zhongzhan has shouted this. They have learned many lessons and they really don't believe it anymore. They are now. I would rather challenge those 9 sophomores than challenge Zhang Zan. Because that would make them look stupid, and stupid. Hey, can't people trust each other a little bit? After waiting for a while, the new student jumped up to challenge him. Zhang Zan sighed regretfully, and then slowly got up from the ground. When he got up from the ground, his face still looked weak and exhausted. Big skin swallow. I knew it. This guy was actually acting just now. Quote. See this. The corners of the freshmen's mouths twitched one after another as they looked at Zhang Zan with a look of resentment. Zhang Zan didn't care at all. He silently calculated his gains. 223. Yes, you read that right. Zhang Zan defeated a total of 223 freshmen. For every new student he defeats, Zhang Zan will be rewarded with 500,000 points. If it's 223, it's a reward of 115 million points. Plus the 8 million points he earned by defeating Xiao Yan twice. Altogether, that's 123 million. I'm getting rich. I'm getting rich. I'm getting rich. Wah, ka, wah, 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 or one of the top universities in the world. Zhang Zan was so happy when he thought that he would get 123 million points soon. If it weren't for the fact that he was in a duel now, he would have burst out laughing. Although Zhang Zan didn't laugh out loud, his face was already flushed with excitement. Soon, all freshmen in this class have completed the assessment. But, counting Zhang Zan, there were only 2 people who passed the assessment. The other one is a fat man who has awakened the A-level power system. The reason why he was able to pass the assessment was not because of how strong he was, but because he was so resistant to being beaten. The person he chose to challenge was a college senior in the agility department. That senior's speed is very fast. It is much faster than Zhang Zan, who used Xiao in his dragon form. All freshmen who challenge that senior will be defeated within 3 seconds of the start of the battle. Because her speed is so fast. But everything changed after meeting the fat man named Hao Suan. The superpower of the fat man named Hao Suan seemed to be completely added to his defense. Although he is only the first level mid-level. But when facing the crazy attack from the sophomore senior, he remained motionless. In the end, he was forced to delay for 2 minutes. After the so-called freshman ceremony, Xiao Yan and the other 10 sophomores glanced at Zhang Zan with an unkind look on their faces and left in a hurry. Obviously, their mission is over here. 343 freshmen stood under the high platform, waiting for the next order from the instructors on the platform. Okay, the freshman ceremony has come to an end. The teacher from the academic affairs office met the eyes of all the freshmen and spoke. Now, you must have understood the competition culture of our Magic City University, right? Next, in order to let you have a more thorough understanding of the culture of our Magic City University, culture, the Academic Affairs Office has also prepared a special dormitory selection activity for all you freshmen. Special dormitory selection activity? What do you mean? Hearing this, all the freshmen were stunned for a moment. While everyone was confused, the voice of the teacher from the Academic Affairs Office rang out again. The Academic Affairs Office has prepared 100 dormitories for you freshmen, numbered from 1 to 100. The higher the dormitory number is, the bigger and more luxurious the dormitory is. At the same time, the dormitory is also located close to the center of the school. Maybe some freshmen still don't know the benefits of being close to our Magic City University Center. Because our Magic City University Center suppresses a different time and space crack, and the world opposite that crack is a world with high spiritual energy concentration, and the spiritual energy concentration is higher than that of the outside world. It's almost 10 times higher, so the closer to the central dormitory, the higher the spiritual energy concentration in the dormitory. Let me use an analogy. The concentration of spiritual energy in dormitory number 1 is the highest, about 5 times higher than the average concentration of spiritual energy in the city where humans mainly live. Dormitory number 2 is slightly lower than dormitory number 1. By analogy, the concentration of spiritual energy in dormitory number 100 is different from that in the city. The concentration of spiritual energy inside is quite high. Hear this. There was a sudden commotion below. Immediately afterwards, the teacher from the Academic Affairs Office spoke again. Some of you may want to ask why you only have 100 dormitories when there are more than 300 people. That's because all dormitories can accommodate multiple people at the same time. Each dormitory can accommodate up to 4 people. But, I suggest that people who are confident enough in their own abilities can choose to occupy a dormitory by themselves, because our Academic Affairs Office will issue 5 million student aid points to a dormitory every month. If there is only one person in the dormitory, if he lives there, then all the 5 million points will belong to him alone. But if there are 2 people or 3 or 4 people living together in the dormitory, the 5 million points will be evenly distributed to everyone living in the dormitory. Oh, by the way, the first 5 dormitories will give out more points every month than the other dormitories. Dorm number 1 is worth 1 million points per month, dormitory number 2 is worth 8 million points, dormitory number 3 is worth 7 million points, and numbers 4 and 5 are worth 6 million points each. Blah blah blah. The whole place was in an uproar. 10 million points per month, what is the concept? Even for those students from better off families, 10 million is already a lot. This is definitely not a small number. Not to mention his family background is relatively good. Even if you have a mine at home, you will never miss this 10 million easily. Not to mention, this is 10 million points, this is not 10 million Kyushu coins. Points and Kyushu coins are not the same concepts. In Magic City University, all spiritual herbs, elixirs, all exercises, and all teaching equipment need to be purchased with points. Kyushu coins are not circulated in Magic City University. All, no matter how good your family situation is, no matter how rich your family is, even if there are hundreds of millions of Kyushu coins in your bank card, if you don't have points, you can never buy anything in Magic City University. A cultivation resource. All of a sudden, everyone's eyes were red, and everyone's breathing was quickened. Amid emotional fluctuations, the energy within an individual fluctuates involuntarily. All of a sudden, the entire duel arena was filled with fighting spirit. I can see that you can't wait. So, next, I will give you 5 minutes. During these 5 minutes, you can communicate and form a team by yourself, and choose your future roommates. After 5 minutes, we will start, allocate, quarters. The teacher from the Academic Affairs Office emphasized the word, distribution. Obviously, the distribution he talks about is not distribution in the true sense. In Magic City University, an institution that pursues a culture of competition, everything depends on the fist. Whoever has a strong fist will get good treatment. He just finished speaking. Suddenly, the entire duel arena suddenly became lively. The freshmen looked around one after another, looking for the best roommate in their minds. But, the excitement is theirs, not Zhongzhan's. First, it was because Zhongzhan didn't want a roommate. Roommate, what it is? So good, why is he looking for a roommate? Are you not happy for yourself? He lives alone in a dormitory and enjoys a monthly scholarship of 10 million points. Isn't it nice? Yes, Zhongzhan wants to be alone in dormitory 1. The second reason is because the cooling time of the time travel simulator has ended, and Zhongzhan is currently simulating time travel. Among the several talents that were spawned this time, there is one talent that is pretty good, called Overlord Chi. Aura of Overlord Purple, you are destined to be extraordinary from birth. You are born with an aura of Overlord that can make others follow you, and you have the qualifications to become a king. Close black lens bracket. When he saw this purple talent, Zhongzhan's eyes suddenly lit up. There is no doubt that this is a very valuable talent. Because, in the world of One Piece, whether a person can awaken conqueror's haki depends on whether he or she has the qualification of a king to stand above others. Although Zhang Zan cannot guarantee that after choosing this talent, he will be able to awaken conqueror's haki when simulating time travel. But Zhang Zan dares to ensure that after selecting this talent, his probability of awakening conqueror's haki during simulated time travel will be much greater than without this talent. Very many. Let's use an analogy. Before the King's Spirit talent, if Zhang Zan's probability of awakening conqueror's haki during the simulated time travel was 0.01%, then now, with the King's Spirit talent, the probability of awakening conqueror's haki is, that's 1%. 1% is no small amount. Zhang Zan was already very satisfied. What does 1% mean? This means that on average, Zhang Zan can extract conqueror's haki once for every 100 time travel simulations. You can simulate once a day, that is. It only takes about 3 months on average for Zhang Zan's conqueror's haki strength to reach a higher level. What is this concept? Explosive concept. Of course. This 1% probability of awakening is just Zhang Zan's guess. The actual situation may be lower than 1%. Why does Zhang Zan think so? It's because the talent aura of Overlord is, after all, just a purple talent. If it were a golden talent, Zhang Zan could even guess the probability of awakening conqueror's haki in the time travel simulation to over 10%. No matter what, this talent must be fixed. This talent must be fixed. This moment, Zhang Zan screamed crazily in his heart. While shouting, he quickly selected the 4 talents equipped for this time travel simulation. There, the family is surrounded by walls, sitting in the arms without chaos, the aura of a king and the blood of the dragon clan. What? Why choose the talent of Jadu Sibi? Do you think Zhang Zan wants to? He really has no choice. Who can make another talent worse than a humble family? After Zhang Zan selected 4 talents, this time travel simulation officially began. 1 minute later, grass, a plant, looking at the 3 words, "You are dead," displayed on the system light screen, Zhang Zan's heart felt as if 10,000 grass and mud horses were galloping past, and he could not calm down for a long time. Because, in this simulation, he was really miserable. The influence of Jadu Sibi's talent on him is really great, too great. Because of his poor family, he had been starving since he was born, which caused his physical development to be very slow, and even caused the golden legendary talent of the dragon blood descendant to fail. Yes, you read that right, it just failed. The reason is simple. Because he has been starving, Zhang Zan during this time travel simulation did not even have enough energy to maintain the most basic functions of his body. The talent of the dragon blood descendants requires a lot of energy to be effective. Only with the support of a large amount of energy, this talent can quickly strengthen Zhang Zan's physique. Although later, when he was about 10 years old, he gradually became able to eat enough. But at that time, due to a long-term lack of energy, the time for the dragon blood descendants, the golden legendary talent, to have the best physical strengthening had passed. Later, although Zhang Zan's strength has been improved step by step through his own efforts, he has gradually become the master of an emerging force on the sea. But, because he lacked a lot of energy during his childhood growth, his physical condition was really poor. Especially after he took Paramecia shock fruit at the age of 25, it made his already poor physical condition worse. When he was 30 years old, he already had to have various infusion tubes inserted all over his body to extend his life. At the age of 33, he died of a sudden illness. Oh, success is shock fruit, failure is shock fruit. If I hadn't eaten shock fruit, I definitely wouldn't have been able to establish such a big force on the dangerous sea in this simulated time travel. It's a pity. Although shock fruit is very powerful and its lethality is terrifying, every time it is used, the backlash to the possessor of the fruit's ability will be too great. Only those who have a physique that is different from ordinary people cannot be afraid of shock fruit's backlash. Forget it, don't think about it so much. Although I died very early in this simulation, and although I couldn't awaken Conqueror's Haki because I died too early, at least I awakened Armament Haki. It's not bad to be able to extract Armament Haki again. Quote. Thinking this, Zhang Zan quickly came to his senses and turned his attention to the system light curtain again. You are dead, this simulation has ended, cumulative survival time, 33 years, points earned, 33 points, simulator cooling time, 1 day. Close black lens bracket. In this simulation, you have obtained the following abilities. Armament Hockey, Paramecia Shock Fruit ability, please choose one to extract. Close black lens bracket. Kindness. After seeing clearly the abilities that could be extracted, Zhongzhan was stunned for a moment, and a look of astonishment appeared on his face. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. After being stunned for 3 seconds, Zhongzhan finally came back to his senses. He quickly shouted in his heart, System. 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 Host, please say. Close black lens bracket. Don't I already possess the blue dragon fruit ability? Can I still extract other devil fruit abilities? Logically speaking, under normal circumstances, isn't it true that a person can only have one devil fruit ability? Zhongzhan held his breath deeply and asked in his heart. Host, please don't forget that when this system extracts the devil fruit ability, it will automatically clear all negative buffs on the devil fruit for the host. The fact that two devil fruit abilities will exclude each other when they appear in the same person is also the fault of devil fruit. Negative buff. Close black lens bracket. I am Sao. Awesome. 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 When Zhongzhan heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. Extremely ecstatic. He was so excited that his breathing became heavy and rapid. If there was no one else around at this moment, he would have thrown his head back and laughed. After being excited for a while, Zhongzhan finally came back to his senses. However, he did not extract the shock fruit ability immediately, but cautiously asked, System, when you extract the shock fruit later, can you directly distribute it into my space ring? Although Zhongzhan has decided to keep a high profile. But, some things need to be kept low-key, especially those involving time travel simulators. With so many people watching right now, if a fruit suddenly appeared in his hand for no reason, it would be terrible if someone noticed it. Open black lens bracket can. Close black lens bracket. That's good, that's good. Then system, come on, I want to extract shock fruit. Ding dong, Paramecia shock fruit is being extracted. Ding dong, Paramecia shock fruit has been extracted into the host space ring. The fruit's negative buff will be automatically erased. Please feel free to eat it, host. Hearing this, Zhongzhan quickly placed the ring on his right hand between his eyebrows. Spiritual power emanates. However, then shock fruit was seen in the empty space ring. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Zhongzhan was ecstatic again. Shock fruit, this is the most destructive fruit among Paramecia devil fruits. Although it was said before, the shock fruit ability can cause great harm to the user's body. But, Zhongzhan is not afraid. What does Zhongzhan have to be afraid of? He is the owner of the blue dragon fruit ability. The green dragon fruit is originally a fruit that can greatly improve the physique of the eater. This can be easily seen from the fact that Zhongzhan was still vigorous despite the fierce battle with more than 200 freshmen just now. This can be easily seen from the fact that Zhongzhan was able to resist the attacks of dozens of new A-level elemental superpowers without any damage just now. Others may not be able to bear the backlash of shock fruit. But, with the power of the blue dragon fruit, he doesn't have to worry about all kinds of problems. Just when Zhongzhan was very excited, sudden tap tap tap, several footsteps sounded from the front, and two freshmen came directly in front of Zhongzhan. One of the freshmen called out, Zhongzhan. What do you want? Zhongzhan raised his head. Do you want to work with us to compete for the qualification to stay in dormitory number 1? A new student invited. Do you want to move into dormitory number 1? Zhongzhan quickly glanced at the two of them and said, yes. The two men nodded and said, how about it, do you want to join us? Zhongzhan did not answer their words, but suddenly laughed. Why are you laughing? A new student asked. Why should I join you and compete with you for the qualification to stay in dormitory number 1? Why should I share the monthly student aid points in dormitory number 1 with you? Zhongzhan asked playfully. You. When the two freshmen heard this, a flash of anger suddenly appeared on their faces. But soon, the anger on their faces dissipated. HMPH, Zhongzhan, you will regret it. I admit that you are very strong, but you don't really think that you alone can compete with 4 people, do you? Let's go. After saying that, the two freshmen turned around and strode away. After Zhongzhan glanced at them indifferently, he closed his eyes to rest, and waited quietly. In the following time, a total of 4 or 5 waves of people came to look for Zhongzhan and wanted to recruit Zhongzhan to join the gang. However, they were all rejected mercilessly by Zhongzhan. Again, that's a 1 million student aid points reward every month. Zhongzhan could obviously get it all by himself, why would he want to separate it out? Just like that, time passed quickly. Blink, 5 minutes are up. Ahem. Accompanied by the coughing sound of the instructor from the Academic Affairs office, the originally noisy scene suddenly became quiet. Okay, the time has come. Judging from the looks of you, you must have already found your favorite roommate. I believe you are all looking forward to picking your future dormitory. But before we officially start, there is one thing I have to remind you of. When selecting a dormitory, if there are several groups of people who like the same dormitory, then you have to fight among yourself to decide a final winner. Only the final winner will win. If you are qualified to move into that dormitory, those who fail will not only lose the right to move into that dormitory, but also lose the right to prioritize choosing a dormitory. What does that mean? It means that once you fail to compete for a certain dormitory, then you have to wait for everyone else to choose the dormitory before you can choose the dormitory. And by then you will not be able to choose the dormitory that has been selected. You can only choose the dormitory. Being able to choose the remaining dormitories that others chose. As soon as these words came out, suddenly, the originally high and impatient mood of the freshmen below suddenly dropped a lot. Originally, they were still thinking that they would try to compete for dormitory number 1 first, and it would be the best if they could win. If they couldn't compete, wouldn't there be dormitories number 2, number 3, number 4 and many other top dormitories to choose from? But now, some of them suddenly retreated in their hearts. This is not to say that they dare not fight, but that they have a clear understanding of their own strength. Play it safe first and choose a decent dormitory. After the strength increases later on, they will fight for the frontline dormitories again. Yes, the dormitory of Magic City University. If you don't fight for it today, it will belong to you forever. There is a scramble day every month. Okay, I won't say any more gossip. Let's start now. Starting from Dormitory 1, students who have ideas about Dormitory 1 can now enter the ring. The teacher from the Academic Affairs office just finished speaking. Tap, accompanied by loud and intensive stamping sounds on the ground. Next moment, a handsome figure jumped onto the ring in front of everyone. This man is 8 feet tall, has sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes, is handsome and elegant, has a dignified appearance, and looks like Panen. If it were placed on the earth, the first time any earthling saw him, he would probably blurt out, "I am Cao Yanzu." This person is surprisingly our commander-in-chief by Zhongzhan. Zhang Shuang just came to power not long ago. Brush brush brush. Successively, 3 figures boarded the ring almost at the same time. No giving orders. Next moment, the 2 sides in the ring took action directly. Zhongzhan didn't have any intention of exaggerating. Roar. He directly activated the Azure Dragon Fruit ability with all his strength and entered the dragon form. Tap tap tap. With the help of Xiao, he suddenly kicked off the ground. Like a cannonball, it rushed towards the 3 people. The reaction of the 3 people was not slow either. With one wave of his hand, countless white mist suddenly filled the entire arena. The concentration of this mist is very high. Very, very high. It reached the point where I couldn't see my fingers. His 2 companions, one on the left and one on the right, grabbed his arms respectively. Under his leadership, they quickly disappeared into the thick fog. However, the sight was blocked, which did not affect Zhongzhan. With the help of observation hockey, Zhongzhan easily captured the traces of the 3 people in the thick white fog. Tread. He quickly clicked the air with his feet in the air, and suddenly rushed towards the thick fog to the west. The next moment, he had rushed in front of the 3 people. How can it be? The freshman who released the fog let out an incredible cry. But the next moment, aha! His screams of pain rang out. His whole body seemed to be hit by a high-speed train, and he flew backwards. Through the fog, after drawing a beautiful arc in the air, he landed heavily on the ring. And at this time, at most, only 3 seconds passed before the 3 of them entered the ring. Before everyone under the ring could react. Boom! Boom! Two figures were knocked out of the thick fog and fell onto the stage in an extremely embarrassed state. Immediately afterwards, only then did Zhang Zan step by step walk out of the thick fog that gradually dispersed. He stood at the edge of the ring. His gaze passed over the faces of the more than 300 freshmen below, and finally a bright smile suddenly appeared on his face, saying, "Is there any other student who wants to compete with me for dormitory No. 1? The words fell. Below, it was quiet. After a brief silence, suddenly, a girl wearing a white dress and about 85 years old suddenly jumped onto the ring. Zhang Zan's eyes were instantly locked on her. The atmosphere on the stage instantly became serious. Although she was alone, Zhang Zan did not dare to underestimate her. After witnessing him quickly defeating the three freshmen, he still dared to run up to challenge him alone. What does this mean? This shows that the other party has confidence in his heart. In total seriousness, tap, Zhang Zan moved. Without thinking, he rushed towards the girl. 5 meters. 4 meters. 3 meters. 2 meters, seeing that he was about to kill him in front of the girl. The girl suddenly waved her hand and threw out a purple rhombus crystal. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, countless thunders erupted from this rhombus crystal. This time, Zhang Zan did not use his superior physique and defense power to resist like other freshmen before, but quickly dodged. Because he felt the dangerous atmosphere from these thunders. Zhang Zan's reaction and speed were very fast. However, how can it be faster than thunder? Next moment, all those flashing thunderbolts had already fallen on him. A tingling sensation swept through his body. Hiss. Zhang Zan couldn't help but take a breath of air. Before he could make any move, the girl took out a purple rhombus crystal from nowhere and threw it towards Zhang Zan. Damn it! Zhang Zan quickly dodged, but still failed to dodge. He just managed to withstand the purple thunder attack, and the girl had already thrown the third purple crystal. No, no, no! Zhang Zan gritted his teeth and stared fiercely at the girl in the distance. We can't keep this up. If this keeps up, I will be consumed by her sooner or later. Think of this. Zhang Zan clenched his fist suddenly. Facing the thunder crystal thrown by the girl, Zhang Zan stopped hiding. No matter how hard you try, you can't escape. Ever since, Zhang Zan just carried the purple thunder crystals thrown by the girl and rushed towards her step by step. Seeing Zhang Zan getting closer and closer, the girl stepped back step by step. Soon, she retreated to the edge of the ring. There is no way back. Out on a limb, a look of panic finally appeared on her pretty face. 5 meters, 4 meters, 3 meters. Seeing Zhang Zan approaching step by step, the panic on the girl's face became more and more intense, and finally, she suddenly gritted her teeth. Next, between waving hands, another purple rhombus crystal appeared in her palm. But this rhombus crystal looks similar to the rhombus crystals she threw before. But the moment this diamond-shaped crystal appeared, the hair on Zhang Zan's body suddenly stood up. That moment, a strong sense of crisis suddenly swept through Zhang Zan's body. However, before Zhang Zan could react, the girl had already thrown the crystal in her hand towards him. Damn it! Stop! On the high platform, the 5 instructors yelled angrily, and the girl threw the rhombus crystal. No, 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 no. Or should I say, it started ringing when she took out the rhombus crystal. Even 2 of the teachers had already rushed down from the high platform. However, it's too late. It's too late. Next moment. Boom, boom, boom. Thunder flashes. Purple-brown thunderbolts directly enveloped Zhang Zan. Thunderous. Thunder roars. Under the ring. Incredible exclamations sounded one after another. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Go crazy. Level 3 Thunder Bead. That guy actually used Level 3 Thunder Bead. In Magic City University, although it is not prohibited to use various external props during battle, it is strictly prohibited to use any props that exceed the opponent's level. 3rd level Thunder Bead. This is a 3rd level thunder attack. No matter how good Zhang Zan's physique is, he will have to lie in bed for a while, right? No, no, no. My Sao, my Sao, my Sao. Look, 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 look at Thunder Center. Quote. As the exclamations rang out, everyone looked intently at the center of the thunder in the ring. Then, everyone's pupils shrank suddenly. I am Sao. Change, pervert, what a pervert. This guy Zhang Zan can actually resist a third-level thunder attack. Quote. Only scene. A black shadow strode out from the center of the violent thunder step by step. The dark shadow turned out to be Zhang Zan. But at this moment, Zhang Zan looked particularly embarrassed. A huge, bloody, hideous scar extended from his left shoulder to his right abdomen. Drops of blood kept falling from the wound. His face was extremely pale, just like a vampire, without the slightest trace of blood. But his gaze was extremely sharp. His eyes were fixed on the girl standing blankly at the edge of the ring not far away. In the eyes, full of murderous intent. At this moment, endless anger swept through Zhang Zan's body. Tap, tread, tread. Under everyone's keen gaze, Zhang Zan walked straight towards the girl step by step, and step after step. Yes, Zhang Zan, yes. I'm sorry, I. At this moment, the girl had obviously realized what she had just done wrong. With an aggrieved and pitiful look on his face, he trembled and apologized intermittently to Zhang Zan. However, Zhang Zan had no intention of forgiving her. Apologize? Is that useful? What a waste. He almost died just now. A little bit. It's really just a little bit closer. If he hadn't subconsciously tilted his body to the left, the crystal that was originally aimed at his left chest would have landed on his right abdomen. At this time, even if he is not dead, he will probably have to lie down for several months before he can go to the ground. Just ask. After experiencing such a life and death crisis, could Zhang Zan really forgive the other party just because of the other party's light apology? No, impossible, absolutely impossible. So, Zhang Zan suddenly moved. He suddenly grabbed the girl's neck and lifted her up from the ground. The girl subconsciously reached out and tried to break away Zhang Zan's hand grabbing her neck. Then, Galalala, ah. Zhang Zan reached out and grabbed her left and right arms, and twisted them hard, breaking her arms directly. Immediately afterwards, he punched out with his right fist. Boom, no holding back at all. He hit the girl directly with all his strength. Puff, the girl immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhang Zan didn't just let it go. He had no intention of pitying her. He then viciously threw the girl to the ground. Boom. The entire arena trembled suddenly. Then, Zhang Zan stood up and down. 1 kick, 2 feet, 3 legs, 4 legs, 5 feet. Under the impact of the huge force, the girl vomited blood one after another and fainted. A waste who only relies on external forces. Looking at the girl who had fainted, Zhang Zan kicked her out of the ring. Immediately, he looked around at all the freshmen below and said, "Who else wants to compete with me for dormitory No. 1?" Below, there was silence, wherever Zhang Zan's eyes passed. Among the more than 300 freshmen, no one dared to look at Zhang Zan. Everyone involuntarily opened their eyes. Obviously, Zhang Zan's brutal performance just now had completely impressed all of them. Tick-tock, time passes by second. After waiting for 10 seconds, Zhang Zan took his eyes away from the freshman and turned to the teacher from the academic affairs office who was the first to rush towards him not far away. He said, "Teacher, I should have been admitted to dormitory number 1 by now." Right. Kindness. The teacher from the academic affairs office took a deep look at Zhang Zan, nodded, and then threw a small bottle filled with milky white fluid and said, "Zhang Zan, regarding what happened just now, our Magic City University, I will give you a satisfactory explanation. This is a bottle of third-level life elixir, please take it first." Okay. Zhang Zan did not refuse. After taking the elixir of life, he continued, "Teacher, are there any other activities next? If not, I want to go to my dormitory first." "No, just go and tend to your injuries. Do you want me to arrange for someone to take you there?" The teacher from the academic affairs office said with a kind face. "No need, teacher, please tell me the location of dormitory number 1, and I can go there by myself. I can still hold on to this injury." Well, after learning the location of dormitory number 1 from the teacher at the academic affairs office, Zhang Zan strode out of the duel field under the bright gaze of everyone. After watching Zhang Zan leave, the teacher from the academic affairs office glanced at the fainted girl under the ring with disgust and disdain, took out his mobile phone and dialed a number. "Jinmin Wu, I know you are now even in school. I also know that you are preparing to attack the 4th level now, but 3 minutes, I only give you 3 minutes, and I limit you to come to the duel field within 3 minutes. Soon after, under everyone's keen gaze, a muscular man hurriedly ran into the duel field. After seeing the unconscious and bloody girl on the ground, a look of rage suddenly appeared on the face of the strong man. Who did this? Kinmin Wu, the teacher from the Academic Affairs Office, said with a cold face. Your sister violated the school rules of our Magic City University and rashly used the 3rd level Thunder Beat on the new students, causing them to be seriously injured. I am now officially informing you that she has been expelled from the school. You can take her back now. In addition, you are limited to 1 week, no matter what means you use. Prepare 20 million penalty points for your ignorant sister and transfer them to the other party. Zhang Zan didn't know anything about what happened in the duel field. He didn't know that the girl who caused him serious injuries had a brother who was also studying at Magic City University, and he was also a quasi-senior who was preparing to hit the 4th level. But, even if Zhang Zan knew in advance that she had such a brother, he would still do those things without hesitation. Because he was really just a little bit away from death. The feeling of approaching death is something that no one can easily forget. Now that Zhang Zan recalled the thrilling scene just now, he would still break out in a cold sweat. Although Magic City University only recruits about 300 freshmen every year. According to the normal 4 grades of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, there are only about 1,200 or 300 students studying at Magic City University at the same time. But this is not the case. Zhang Zan walked all the way towards the dormitory group. He saw more than one student coming and going along the way. As for the reason, it is because Magic City University is different from other ordinary superpower universities. If you want to graduate from Magic City University, you must break through and become a 5th level superpower. Otherwise, you will never be eligible to graduate in your lifetime. Besides, the grades at Magic City University are not divided according to the time of admission. As long as you break through the 2nd level, even if you are a freshman who has just enrolled, you can apply to become a sophomore student immediately. Same reason, as long as you break through the 3rd level, you can apply to become a junior student immediately. And so on. Breaking through the 4th level, you can become a senior student. So, there are approximately 3,000 to 4,000 students studying in the entire Magic City University at the same time. Although Zhang Zan's injuries looked very serious. But, obviously, in this school that pursues a competition culture, injuries are normal and normal. He met no less than 100 students from Magic City University along the way, but most of them didn't even look at Zhang Zan. Although a small group of people glanced at Zhang Zan curiously, it was just a glance. After they raised their heads and glanced at Zhang Zan, they immediately withdrew their gaze and left in a hurry. The environment of the entire Demon City University is completely different from the environment of many universities on the earth before Zhang Zan traveled through. Laid back, comfortable, non-existent, all the students seemed to be racing against time. Under the influence of this bad environment, Zhang Zan felt that even when he was walking much faster than before. Obviously, he had been unknowingly affected by the atmosphere where every second counts in Magic City University. In front of dormitory number 1. This is a dormitory. Are you sure this isn't a villa? Zhang Zan was stunned when he looked at the 3-story villa in front of him, with a yard full of flowers and a swimming pool. After being confused for a long time, he finally came back to his senses. This will be my new home for the next month. Zhang Zan murmured to himself and suddenly shook his head. No. No, 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 no. While shaking his head, Zhang Zan's eyes gradually became sharper. How can you say 1 month? 1 month is not enough. To be precise, I will live here during the entire university period. I have to live here. Quote. While muttering to himself, Zhang Zan silently clenched his fists. Then, he strode into the villa. Inside the villa, the decoration can be described as quite luxurious. Normally, Zhang Zan would definitely appreciate and visit the house where he would live in the next few years. But, at this moment, his attention has been completely attracted by other things. Because after entering the house, he immediately took out the shock fruit from the space ring. In fact, he was already very anxious on the way to dormitory number 1. No, no, no. To be precise, the moment he got the shock fruit, he couldn't wait to eat it. But, after all, there were too many people present at that time. Comma, 1 bite, 2 mouthfuls, 3 mouthfuls, 3 mouthfuls. In just 3 mouthfuls, Zhongzhan ate the entire shock fruit. Shock fruit has just been eaten. Immediately afterwards, the next second, Zhongzhan felt a new energy appear in his body. This is an energy completely different from the ability of the blue dragon fruit. This energy is destructive. He subconsciously tried to drive this energy in his body. Suddenly, buzz buzz buzz, the air in front of Zhongzhan shook violently. Immediately afterwards, as Zhongzhan continued to release this energy, the vibration waves began to spread rapidly outward. The furniture, walls, floors, and eventually even the entire villa began to shake. But, the next second, all the vibrations stopped suddenly. Cough, cough, cough. At the same time, Zhongzhan's weak coughing sounded. No wonder in the anime, Whitebeard's condition is so bad when he is old, and he has to be covered with infusion tubes to live a normal life. The destructive power of shock fruit is indeed very powerful, but its side effects are also very serious. While muttering, drops of bright red blood kept dripping from Zhongzhan's body. All I could see on his chest was the huge, ferocious scar that had almost been healed by the powerful recovery power of the azure dragon fruit. It had been violently shaken by the backlash of the shock fruit's ability, and the bloody scars were broken open. Kuzi. But for me who has the ability of the blue dragon fruit, the backlash of the shock fruit ability is still bearable. If I can develop and master the blue dragon fruit further, I should be able to completely ignore the backlash caused by using the shock fruit ability. In this way, my shortcomings in long-range attacks and ranged attacks can be made up for. Thinking of this, a satisfied smile suddenly appeared on Zhongzhan's face. Zhongzhan's injuries were really serious. Very serious. After all, he was injured by the power of the 3rd level, and even in the dragon form, his strength is only the 2nd level low grade. Even with the help of 3rd level life spirit fluid, even though he is a user with the azure dragon fruit ability, and even though his body's recovery ability is several times that of an ordinary person of the same level, it took him almost 4 to 5 hours to recover. Less than 70% of the injuries were recovered. Zhongzhan estimated it would take him at least 3 more days to fully recover from his injuries. Because the injury had not fully recovered, Zhongzhan did not practice until midnight as before, but lay down early. That night, Zhongzhan slept soundly and peacefully. This was the best and most sound sleep he had ever had in his life. Early the next morning, Zhongzhan woke up early. Then, when it was beyond his expectation, the huge and hideous scar on his chest has completely scabbed over. It seems that I still underestimated the blue dragon fruit. Looking at his completely scabbed wound, Zhongzhan suddenly raised the corners of his mouth, revealing a bright smile. After washing up, Zhongzhan started today's morning exercise. However, he had just started his morning exercises when the doorbell suddenly rang loudly on his back legs, forcing him to postpone his morning exercises and go to open the door. After opening the door, Zhongzhan was greeted by the kind face of the teacher from the Academic Affairs Office who presided over the freshman ceremony yesterday. Zhongzhan, from the look of you, your injury seems to be almost healed. I feel relieved to see you like this. When he saw Zhongzhan, who was rosy and lively, a look of surprise first appeared on his face, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. Obviously, he didn't expect Zhongzhan's recovery ability to be so strong. Before Zhongzhan could speak, the teacher from the Academic Affairs Office spoke again. Since you are fine, I won't say any more nonsense, teacher. This card is your student card. Remember to keep it. In the future, if you want to use all the training equipment in our Magic City University, you will need to use this student card. At the same time, this student card is also your only key to enter and exit the school's treasure house. Only by carrying this student card can you be eligible to enter the school's treasure house, and you can use points to purchase various exercises in the treasure house resource. With that said, the teacher from the Academic Affairs Office handed a black card to Zhongzhan. Zhongzhan quickly took the black student card. As soon as he took it, he immediately felt a cold breath coming from the card, and it had already flowed through his whole body in the blink of an eye. At last, this cold breath surged up quickly and gathered in his brain, making his already sober mind become even more sober. Zhang Zan's eyes suddenly lit up. Teacher, this student card. He quickly cast his curious eyes on the teacher in the academic affairs office. Each student card is made of 4th level special materials. If it is carried close to the body, it can have the effect of purifying the mind. If it is carried close to the body for a long time, it can even promote the spontaneous growth of mental power. So please be sure to keep it well. Although if you lose it, you can come to the school's academic affairs office to get a new one, but the replacement price for each one is 1 million points. Facing Zhang Zan's curious gaze, the teacher from the academic affairs office smiled and explained. Made of 4th level special materials. It can have a purifying effect. Carrying it for a long time can promote the spontaneous growth of mental power. Nice one, nice one, nice one. This is good stuff. Zhang Zan's eyes sparkled even more. After gaining the shock fruit ability, Zhang Zan has indeed made up for his weak long-range attack methods and group attack methods. But this does not mean that Zhang Zan has no shortcomings now. Quite the opposite. He also has a flaw, a very fatal flaw. That is, compared to freshmen at the same level, his mental strength is too low. Too low, too low. To know, if your mental power is too low compared to others, you will easily be suppressed by the opponent's mental power when fighting with others, resulting in you being unable to use your full strength during the battle. The greater the mental power deficit, the greater the mental power suppression will be. Once the gap in mental power reaches a certain level, the party with stronger mental power can crush the opponent's spirit simply by relying on mental power to suppress it, and ultimately win without a fight. Zhang Zan's mental strength is lower than that of freshmen in the same class, which is normal. To explain it in one word, it is poor. He is too poor. Spiritual herbs and elixirs that can enhance mental power are really too expensive. They are several times more expensive than the same level of spiritual herbs and elixirs that can enhance physical fitness. And, different from physical fitness can be improved through various different exercise methods, while the only way to improve mental strength is meditation. Although there are many different meditation methods in this world. But, the price of meditation is not cheap. The starting price of a moderate meditation method is over 1 million. A slightly better meditation method would even cost tens of millions. It is said that some top meditation methods sell for hundreds of millions. So let me ask, how can a poor guy like Zhang Zan afford it? The meditation method he is using now is an officially announced free meditation method. This free meditation method, how should I say, although it can be used, the effect is relatively average and satisfactory, but there is no doubt that it is definitely not as good as those meditation methods that require money to purchase. As for the freshmen at the same level as him, I cannot say that all of them, at least more than 90% of them, have good financial conditions at home. Nature. The meditation method they practice cannot be the official free meditation method. In addition, they can occasionally take some expensive spiritual herbs and elixirs that can enhance meditation. This is their mental power. The reason far surpasses Zhang Zan. Back to business. The screen returns to the door of dormitory number 1. Because you left the freshman orientation ceremony early yesterday, there are some things that I must explain to you. The teacher from the academic affairs office suddenly said, Our Magic City University, unlike other universities, allows every new student to choose a tutor, who will lead you to learn and grow. What we adopt here is an open class method. In terms of teaching mode, different instructors will start classes every day, and you can check the specific starting time on the school website. Okay teacher, I understand. Zhang Zan nodded seriously. Of course, if you have enough points, you can use your points directly to hire a tutor to teach you specifically, but the cost of hiring a tutor to teach you alone is not cheap. In addition, there are 3 taboos in our Magic City University. Once violated, they will be expelled from the campus and ordered to drop out of school, or directly shot to death. As he spoke, the voice of the instructor from the academic affairs office suddenly became deep and cold. When Zhang Zan saw this, he immediately became more energetic. The first taboo is that although our Magic City University adheres to the competition Culture: unless the junior students nod their consent, senior students are strictly prohibited from attacking junior students. At the same time, it is also strictly prohibited to use weapons that are larger than the opponent's size in battle. Any external force props used on the order. Violators will be expelled from the campus. Second point: during the fight, it doesn't matter how hard you fight or how violent the fight is. The school will not care about you, but it is strictly forbidden to kill anyone. Violators will be expelled from the campus. Of course, you met yesterday except for special circumstances. By the way, this is how the Academic Affairs Office handled yesterday's matter. Jin Ziwin, the freshman who used the Third Order Thunder Bead to attack you, has been forcibly expelled from school. At the same time, the school has also notified her relatives. Ask them to pay 20 million points as compensation within 3 days, and they will be transferred directly to your student account. Are you satisfied with the school's handling? I'm very satisfied. Zhang Zan smiled and nodded. That's good, then I will continue to talk about the third taboo. The third point is that once the school enters the red emergency state, all students must obey the school's instructions immediately and unconditionally, and prepare to fight and kill the enemy. Violators will be expelled. If you leave the campus, if you abscond during the war, the school has the right to kill you directly. As the saying goes, if you want to wear a crown, you must bear its weight. Since our Magic City University enjoys high-quality resources that other universities are envious of, we must also bear a burden that other universities cannot bear. The above 3 points, especially the last one, Zhang Zan, do you understand? I understand. Zhang Zan nodded heavily. Very good. Seeing Zhang Zan nodding without hesitation, a satisfied smile suddenly appeared on the face of the teacher from the Academic Affairs Office. I've said everything that needs to be said, so from now on, you can enjoy your wonderful college time. Return to the dormitory. Zhang Zan immediately opened the school's official website and found this week's class schedule. But it was beyond Zhang Zan's expectation. In the next week, there will be only 3 open classes in total. Free-range teaching model, Zhang Zan murmured thoughtfully. Then he thought about it and realized that it was normal for there to be so few courses. After all, this is Magic City University, one of the 3 largest universities in Kyushu, and it only recruits geniuses selected from a million. Geniuses are different from ordinary people. For ordinary people, because of their limited talents, their ability to learn and improve is limited, so it is difficult for them to grow up without a lot of dedicated guidance from teachers. But geniuses are different. Geniuses are all very high in terms of talent, basic skills, and ability to learn, understand and improve themselves. Even without the guidance of a teacher, geniuses can grow up quickly. And there is an advantage to being a genius who grows up in this way. Because their formation relies entirely on their own efforts, their training methods and fighting methods will have their own systems. Although it may be that in the early stage, because of the cultivation style and system developed by oneself, it is not as perfect as the system formed by students who are completely under the guidance of teachers. But, no doubt, in the middle and late stages, the cultivation system style you have developed is definitely better than the cultivation system style imitated and learned from them. Because the former was developed by oneself. Since it was developed by oneself, it must be a perfect fit for oneself. The latter, after all, is imitated and learned from others. After all, what others have belongs to others, and it is definitely impossible to completely fit one's own. Is there a meditation class in the afternoon in 3 days? And it will be taught by a 6th level superpower. It's really exciting. Zhang Zan silently remembered the start time of that meditation class. He was not idle in the following time. Because he cherishes his current living environment, he cherishes this dormitory that has a spiritual energy concentration that is 5 times higher than the outside world. He didn't want to lose at the hands of others a month later because of his momentary laxity, and eventually have to leave here in despair. But Zhang Zan didn't practice stupidly. Shortly after the teacher from the Academic Affairs Office left, Zhang Zan also left his dormitory. All the way, go straight to the treasure pavilion located in the core area of the school. However, it was beyond Zhang Zan's expectation. The so-called treasure pavilion is not a building, but a stone door standing on a square. Zhang Zan followed the instructions of the old man sitting at the stone door and inserted his student card into the card slot on the stone door. A prompt sound suddenly sounded in his ears. Beep, student card. Immediately afterwards, under Zhang Zan's unbelievable gaze, the stone door in front of him suddenly bloomed with a burst of deep blue light. Boy, what are you doing so stupidly? Why don't you go in quickly? Okay. Zhang Zan quickly came to his senses and immediately pushed the door open and entered. It is indeed one of the top 3 universities in Kyushu. The school treasure pavilion is actually in a separate secret realm. Zhang Zan curiously looked at the scenes in the treasure pavilion, filled with emotions. At this time, suddenly a sweet voice of a young girl asked in his ears, I've never seen you before. Are you a new student? When Zhang Zan heard this, he immediately came back to his senses and quickly looked around. But he didn't find anyone except him. Hey, this guy, where are you looking? He's right in front of you. The young girl's voice sounded again. Zhang Zan quickly lowered his head and saw a little loli with twin ponytails. She was holding a book that was bigger than her with great difficulty. She was looking up angrily with her head raised and her cheeks bulging. Own. Little sister, what's your name? Zhang Zan suddenly became curious. You are just a little sister. Your whole family is a little sister. I am not a little sister. I am not a low-level creature like you humans. I am a noble book spirit. Moreover, I am almost 300 this year. How old are you? The little loli puffed out her cheeks and said angrily. Zhang Zan was stunned for a moment. Okay, I won't gossip with you anymore. Let's talk quickly. What are you doing in the treasure pavilion? Are you exchanging cultivation resources? Or are you exchanging various cultivation techniques? But you are just a new student. There shouldn't be much in the card. Points are the right thing, let me be healthy. The little loli who called herself Shuling said and suddenly waved her hand. Immediately afterwards, Zhang Zan felt an inexplicable suction force suddenly sweep across his body. Before he even reacted, the student card in his hand had already appeared in the little loli's hand. Really, how many points can you have as a new student who just entered school yesterday? Why don't you keep the points and go to the cafeteria to eat spiritual food? Why come to the treasure pavilion to disturb people's dreams? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros, 100 million, 123 million. The little loli muttered with some complaints. As she muttered, her voice suddenly became sharper. Immediately afterwards, Zhang Zan saw her eyes widen suddenly and Sakura's little mouth opened wide. That delicate and cute little face was full of shock. You. She stared at Zhang Zan dumbfounded and stuttered for a while, unable to form a complete sentence. At last, ho. She suddenly took 7 or 8 deep breaths in succession, and then looked at Zhang Zan again with a warm face and a bright smile. Brother, your name is Zhang Zan, right? Your name is so nice and artistic. You are so handsome. You are the most handsome human being I have ever seen in my life. The little loli's voice suddenly sounded like tea, making Zhang Zan feel uncomfortable. What a special reality. You were so disgusted with me a second ago, but after seeing my total points clearly, your face changed too quickly. But having said that, being courteous for nothing is either cheating or stealing. Thinking of this, Zhang Zan suddenly became wary. Brother Zhang Zan, you must be here to use your points to redeem training resources, right? Can someone recommend it to you? The little Lolita Shuling spoke enthusiastically again. No need, I can just choose myself. Zhang Zan shook his head and refused. Brother Zhang Zan, please don't look down on me just because I look young. I have been the manager of the Treasure Pavilion for more than 100 years. Basically, everyone at Magic City University, when students come, they will ask me to help them choose, and even the instructors at Magic City University sometimes ask me to help them choose the training resources that are suitable for them. Oh really? Of course it's true. I'm very capable. The book spirit little Loli emphasized the word competent. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.